Okay, this video is going to look at the chord note mapping using the top note feature. So what we're going to do is let's make a whole note on G. Right? Our scale is C major. We've got a C major triad, and we've got a note on G, which is the third, mapped to number 3 in the chord note mapping scheme, right? 1, 2, 3. Now we can actually look at this a different way. What Rapid Composer allows us to do is to look at a chord not from the bottom up, so to speak, but from the top down. Hence, we get this designation top. So I ask you this, very simple. What's the top note of a C major chord? Well, obviously it's G. Okay? So with this note selected, right now it's mapped to the number 3, which is the 5th, but I can also map it to top. And that's what I've done. Now you see, instead of saying number 3, it says top, because the top note of a C major chord, a C major triad that is G. Now let's ask ourselves this simple question. What's the top note of a C major 7th chord? The answer is B. So if I go up here and I change this to C major 7th, lo and behold, this note, which had been G, is now B. That's what top note mapping is. It gives the top note of the chord gets the designation top. All right. Now let's go back to the triad. C, E, G. That's our triad. So there's the top note of the triad. It's G. Now what is the top note of a C major chord? What's the top minus 1? That would be G, and the next chord note of C, E, G would be E. So I could, if I map that to top minus 1 by selecting this button, that's what I get. This note jumps to E. Now what's the top note minus 2 of a C major triad? That would be top minus 2. And lo and behold, it drops down to C. That's top minus 2. Okay? Now what happens if we go beyond, because we only have 3 notes in a triad, but what happens if we hit top minus 3? Now it goes to the G, which is the next note down. If you imagine like a C, E, G on all these octaves, that would be the next one down. Notice if we go top, the octave it's a G4, right? It's a G4. But if we go top minus 3, it's a G3, and that's easy to kind of miss because you don't see the keyboard here, the vertical keyboard. You don't see it jumping, but in fact it's actually moving down an octave. So that's what happens. Now if we go to 4, top minus 4, we're going to end up with a E4, right? We're just moving down the chord, down the triad vertically. So I'll do top minus 4, and sure enough, we get the E4. Top minus 5 would be the C3, right? And that's what we got. And then top minus 6, if I'm on the right track, if I'm correct, this should be G2, right? So let's try it. Yep, that's what we get, G2. So that's top note mapping. Okay, it just looks at a chord. It looks at the top note of the chord, and it gives it the designation top. So it makes sense. So let's change this to a C. Go back to C major. The top note is G. Let's remap that to top. Okay, so there's our G4. Okay, now the top note of a C6 chord would be the A, right? So let's see. Let's prove that we're on the right track. Let's see where the 6 chords are in this list. I don't see the 6 chords. Maybe they're under the major set. Another way we can get there, let's do this. Let's click on the painter's palette and we'll go A. We can select it from here. There's our C6. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. I had been selecting the key over here mistakenly. Those are the keys, so there's our 6. Okay, very good. Sorry about that. And yeah, so that checks out. There's the A. We've got an A4, and that's the top note of a C6 chord, a C major 6 chord. Okay? So that's top note mapping. That's at least a first look at top note mapping. And the next video will look on one of the things to be aware of with top note mapping, and why you might want to use it and why you might not want to use it. Okay, see you in the next video.